Hello, team. I want to walk you through some different components of your Gmail account here at the school. Right now, mine's going to look much different than yours because I've already done a lot of the different features that I'm going to show you today. So I'm going to close some of these up so that it doesn't look as crazy. Inside of your Google Gmail account, you are able to change many of the settings to your preferences, and I have done that in mine. So, your Gmail is your main source of communication through Foundation Academy. We do ask that you send the majority of your parent communications through RenWeb Communications. A video on that you can find in the RenWeb video slide deck. But when parents reply to those emails, they're often going to come back to your Gmail account. Actually, they will always come back to your Gmail account. And anytime you're communicating with anybody within the school, faculty, and staff, you will do so in your Gmail account. A couple of the basic features. To create an email message, you're going to select Compose. You are going to include who it is to. The emails will not begin to auto-populate likely until you have emailed somebody for the first time. So if I am sending an email to Mr. Nethers, that is there. Make sure you create a good subject in the body. Your signature should auto-populate here. If anything in your signature is incorrect, your title, campus, etc., please send a ticket in to the help desk. If your signature does not look like this, if it is a different version of the signature, please submit a ticket. We need to update all signatures to be accurate. With that being said, I will show you in a moment how to check in your settings that it is made so that this can auto-populate. It might be that the signature is being pushed to your account, but you have a setting changed to an old signature. So I will show you how to do that. And then you press send. That is sending an email. To include an attachment, you would click the paperclip. If you want to include a link, here it is. I always recommend making sure that you include a link embedded within the email. So you would include it, let's say, I am sending home information about the upcoming field trip, period. Please email me if you have any questions. So I would then highlight information about the upcoming field trip and then press link and then put the URL there if it is a Google Doc. And that way, only the information about the upcoming field trip is linked. I would do this, and then parents would just click that link instead of including an entire web address, because this is not a best practice in sending in the information. So, best practice for sending in information, I would type the email out as if you weren't including a link and then link exactly what the information is. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I'm rambling. So, once you have done that, then again, you can send. You have a couple of other options, an emoji. You can insert a file using Google Drive. However, I also feel like best practice is just to get the share link from the file, copy it, and insert that link there. But it is up to you. I use the share link because that makes me always go and double check that the document that I have shared is set to the right permission so that person can view it. That is very important. And then you have your editor bar here so that you can edit things. And you have a couple options there for text editing. And that is sending an email. It is pretty simple. Your emails will be saved in your sent folder so you can see all the emails there. And that is sending email. If you have any questions about that, let me know. I'm going to continue walking you through. So you do have your sent folder. You do have a drafts folder for things. That draft is still there. I'm going to discard that. You have your trash. Your trash will save for 30 days. So if you trash something, you have 30 days to go back and find it. And then some of you may also see this Gmail trash folder. Some things do auto-populate in there. And then down here, you see things that I have called labels. So first off, I always recommend that you create a yay label. Sometimes in any line of work, you have a bad day. And it is always good to go back and be able to see an email that somebody has sent with a little bit of praise, giving you affirmation. So I always recommend keeping a yay folder. It helps me when I'm having a difficult day to go back and say, hey, look, I did do something good. So let me show you how to create these labels. You may already see these features. I have mine hidden. If you don't, then you're going to click that more button. You're going to go down to create new label. This is basically like a folder in Google Drive in your Gmail. And so you're going to create a name for that. So let's say I wanted to create one for teacher emails. You can then select create. You can see it populate over here. The great thing about that is that I can then drag emails into that folder. So if you notice at the beginning of the video, my email is very empty. That is because I use my email as a to-do list. And so I get my tasks done and I file my emails. I'm going to delete that. So you can click on the three dots next to it and select remove label. You can also create labels within labels. So you can see here that I have my logistics folder. Once you've created a label, you can select the three dots and you can click add sub-label. You can change colors so that they're easier to identify. Only that one. And you can see the color change there on the tab. There's a couple different organization tools that you can use when organizing your labels. You can also create a sub-label. Let me get rid of this. And let me move this by clicking create new label. And then you can nest it under your parent label. So as you can see in my labels, I am a little OCD about my organization. So I have lots of labels and sub-labels within my organization. And that's how I keep everything organized and keep everything out of my inbox. My inbox, again, I use a to-do list. It is up to you how you do that. But it is always a goal of mine to have less than 5 emails in my inbox before I leave work every day. And that is just how I choose to manage my email. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. You might also see that some of my fields are in a different position than yours. So I want to walk you through all your settings options now so that you know some of your options there. So if you click the gear towards the top right, you have a couple of options here. So some of you are probably in default. I use compact. That's because when I get to a lot of emails, so I'll show you an example. Let's go to digital text. I have plenty in there. So this is what compact looks like when you have a lot of emails. They go one line at a time there. If you change your view to, let's say, default, then in the default field, you're going to be able to see the attachments there. You can open the attachments directly from there if that's something that interests you. Comfortable takes the attachments out and just makes the lines a little bit thicker. But again, I keep mine compact because although my inbox looks empty now, it does usually get anywhere from 50 to 75 emails in a day. And so if I am a little bit behind on my emails and my to-do list, I like compact because I can see everything much quicker. So you can change that. You also have the option to change your theme. And so you'll notice that's how I have my picture in the background. I like to keep things themed because I like my workspaces to be personalized. That allows me to focus more on my work. That's just a personal preference. You can choose any of the themes. You can also choose a photo of your choice. So in order to do that, however, you have to have a photo in your Google Photos. I will show you that as we're going through your options. So you would click my photos and then you would choose one of the photos there. And just so that you know, we'll go out. Well, you do have a few more options. You can change the text background. You can make a vignette of the image, and you can also blur it so that it is not so sharp. To get to Google Photos really fast before we go back to settings, you would click on your waffle in the top right. And then you would scroll down until you found photos. And this is where you would want to drag a photo into your Google Photos so that it is an option for your background. I'm going to go back to my gear here. Below theme, you then have your inbox style. So you can order how things show up in your Gmail inbox. It's up to you how you do that. You can create a priority box. You can star emails. So you can see how none of my emails right now are starred in this particular inbox, but you can see the stars there. You can also see that I have an important label there as well. So you can decide how emails show up if you want that. Because of the way that I utilize my email, I just do default for this portion, but some people do prefer to manage their email inbox differently. So you can choose that. And then you can also choose whether or not you have a reading pane. So I'm going to reload this so that you can see what that looks like. That means that when I open up, go back to that same email box, that when I select it, I can read a portion of that email off to the right. So that's how that would function. So if I go back to this, I prefer not to do that. And the particular reason why is just for security. I keep a no split. I choose to not preview emails ahead of time. And that, again, is for security. So if an email comes through that's from a sender I don't know, I don't want to have a preview because the preview could send in information. So I do always choose to keep my reading pane at no split. And then I do keep my email started in a conversation. Some people choose to keep them separate. So this email up top that you see has 17 emails in it. Those would show as 17 separate emails in that view if they were not in conversation view. With conversation view, though, it piles them into one. And then I can open that one email and then see all of the emails in that. So those are your basic looks for organizing your Gmail. Let's go to all settings now. Inside of all settings, you have tons of options. I'm going to show you the main ones that you're going to need, but if you're a tech person and you want to go through even more in detail, please do. That is completely up to you. There are some settings that you have rights over to edit, and there are others that you don't, based on what we as a school have determined you have use of. So if there's something that you want, you don't have, let us know by ticket, and we are happy to look into that for you. So, a couple of things, and I'll just show you why mine looks a little bit different. So first of all, if you scroll down, I do want to show you the signature. Please make sure that your signature, you might have a separate option. Please make sure that your signature is set to the signature that the school populates. And so that should be likely the one that says my signature. It should. If you've renamed it, like I have another one for some reason, then you can do that. If you have one that is an old signature, you can trash it. That way only the my signature that looks like this one is auto populating for you. So that would be important for you to make sure. And then you also want to make sure down here in signature defaults that my signature is selected for your emails. And then you also want to make sure that your signature is inserted in replies before the quoted text. So this makes sure that your signature shows up where you are responding, not at the very bottom where the original email happened. So this is something that some people often miss. So I recommend setting your signature defaults to this within your Gmail. That is the main thing in this first setting, general tabs. If you are going out of town, if you are not going to be present for a while, or if we're going on a holiday, I would always recommend putting your vacation responder on, setting the dates, subject, and then whatever message you would like to send to there. And then I recommend sending not checking these boxes. So that way anybody that sends you a message would get that auto message. And then always make sure you click save changes if you change anything in this general tab. So in this general settings tab, if you're not wanting to be very OCD about it, then you would want to just go through, make sure your signature is correct, make sure your auto message for vacation responder is off or on, depending on what you need. One more small feature you might want to utilize in here, let me make sure, is the font. If you want to change your font for replying, you can choose default text out there. But again, just make sure that you have saved all the settings. You also have a label setting. So here you can show and hide labels. So you'll notice that I might have some missing that you can see, and that's because I have hidden them because I don't need to see them all the time. So it is up to you how you manage those labels. You have some inbox settings. We did look at a lot of this in the first section of the general settings. Accounts and importing, you don't really need to worry about this as much. Let's go to filters. You don't need to worry about that. Forwarding, if you want to forward email, you shouldn't do this from your Foundation Academy account unless you are like an admin that has multiple accounts and you don't want to have to log into each of them. Then you could forward on this screen by adding a forwarding address. Add-ons, you should have some add-ons for Adobe Creative Cloud and Automagical. You likely see those in your add-ons. Chat and Meet, this is where you see maybe my chat is in a different location from yours. So I have my Google Chat on and I have it moved to the right side of my inbox. That is just a personal preference for me. It is up to you if you would like to do that. You then have your advanced settings, and I do recommend a couple of these. So I do recommend making sure that you have templates turned on if you want to use a template email, which I can show you how to do in a second. And then the others I do not use, but that is up to you. And then themes is the same as before with themes. So let me walk you through templates really quick if you choose to turn that on. So in your email, if you go to compose, you can include a template. So if you click on the three dots in your email, templates is here. So these are templates that I use personally when a new person is onboarded. So if we get a new coach, I simply select this and it will populate. So that way I can enter in the information. It makes my job much easier when I am constantly sending emails to people about the same thing. In order to create a template, let me delete this information. First of all, the name of the template is going to be whatever your subject is. So beginning of year parent email is something that everybody would send, like a welcome email. Welcome to the first grade. We are so excited to get the year started. I'm getting ahead of myself. Whatever you want it to be, you first type it out, make sure, and I would actually delete your signature because when you go in to create your email, it will add your signature in normally. So title, email, then click the three dots, go to templates, and then go save draft as template. Save as new template. Again, you have the name and click save. I use the subject as the name because that helps me to identify it in the listing because that is how you can see it. And it also populates as the title. So that's how I would do it if I were you. Once you've done that, you will see it here. So I will close out of here and show you again how to find it. Compose, see how my signature is already there. Click in the field, three dots, template, select template. And again, I included as the title because it auto populates as the title. So that's how I name mine. And then you can see the emails there. You edit any information you want. Signature is intact. Oh, this one I haven't updated. I had the signature still in the template. And see, that's what happens. The signature will go in twice. So I will show you again with one I know I have already updated to not include that. These are the lessons I have learned as I have developed myself. The coaches I know I have updated to not include the signature so the signature shows up once. And then you put your recipients and you're all good to go. Templates are a great tool to utilize. I am very thankful for them. And that is that. I believe that is all of our introductory information for your Gmail account. When you are in Gmail, you can navigate between the different apps by clicking the waffle, and I will go over some of the different apps in another video. If you have any questions about your Gmail, let me know. Thanks, team.